we used to sort of play there more or less every night. There was sort of a selection of bands, about half a dozen bands.
Roy Wood stands as one of the most innovative and talented musicians in British rock history. His career includes founding several groundbreaking bands, including The Move, Electric Light Orchestra, and Wizzard. What made Wood particularly remarkable was his ability to play almost any instrument he picked up. During the 1970s, he became instantly recognizable with his distinctive wild hair and painted face that became part of his stage persona. Beyond his appearance, Wood possessed genuine songwriting brilliance that produced memorable hits that still resonate today. He wasn't simply a performer or songwriter, but rather a complete musical architect who understood every element that goes into creating a record. Wood sometimes worked in isolation for extended periods, spending 4 or 5 days at a time in the studio without seeing anyone or having conversations with the outside world. This intense dedication to his craft reflected his commitment to perfecting his musical vision. When Wood shared his list of 10 favorite musicians, it revealed something fascinating about his musical mind. The list wasn't what people might expect from a typical rock musician. Wood had studied classical music seriously, embraced American rock and roll wholeheartedly, and absorbed musical influences from countless sources. His musical perspective covered many different styles and periods of music history. In choosing his favorite musicians, Wood valued certain qualities above all others. He cared more about originality than technical perfection. For him, creativity mattered more than simply following established rules. Wood admired musicians who were willing to take chances and develop their own distinctive sounds. He appreciated artists who refused to simply copy what others had done or chase whatever was currently popular. His selections demonstrated his conviction that true musical excellence comes from having a unique artistic vision and being brave enough to experiment fearlessly. The musicians on Wood's list included pioneering rock performers, classical composers, and unusual innovators who all contributed to shaping his distinctively original approach to music. Starting at number 10 was Spike Jones, who created comedy music that was actually musically sophisticated. His band performed intricate arrangements while adding sound effects, comedic elements, and controlled chaos. Jones made his recordings during the 1940s and 1950s, producing parodies and novelty songs that actually required considerable musical ability to perform. Wood appreciated how Jones managed to blend humor with serious musicianship. Jones demonstrated that entertaining music could be technically complex at the same time. Jones's recordings featured incredible musical arrangements hidden underneath the comedy sound effects. His band consisted of top-quality session musicians who could play anything with precision. Jones incorporated cowbells, gunshots, whistles, and unusual instruments alongside traditional orchestral instruments. Wood valued how Jones never compromised musical quality just to get laughs. What distinguished Jones was his complete originality and his refusal to treat music with excessive seriousness. He entertained millions of people while demonstrating real musical genius. Jones showed that music could be both fun and brilliant simultaneously. His approach influenced Wood's own theatrical style in rock music. Jones's legacy proved that comedy and serious musicianship weren't opposites, but could work together as partners. At number 9 was Carl Perkins, who wrote the famous song about blue suede shoes and created some of the most important guitar work in rockabilly music. Perkins blended country, blues, and rhythm and blues into an explosive new musical style. Wood discovered Perkins' records as a teenager and learned that simplicity could be revolutionary. Perkins played driving rhythm and sharp lead guitar at the same time, creating a full sound from just one instrument. Perkins' guitar work on his recordings crackled with energy and creativity. His solos had clear structures with distinct beginnings, middles, and endings. He never played random notes hoping something would work out. Every musical phrase served a specific purpose. Wood loved how Perkins made his guitar sound like it was speaking directly to listeners with personality. What made Perkins irreplaceable was how he combined songwriting talent with guitar-playing genius. He created complete musical packages where the guitar parts and songs were inseparable from each other. Perkins invented the blueprint for British rock guitar. He influenced the Beatles, who recorded several of his songs. His legacy shaped British rock more profoundly than most people realize. Number 8 was Eddie Cochran, who played all the instruments on his recordings and produced his own material. His songs became teenage anthems. Cochran was a complete musician who understood recording technology and musical arrangement. Wood admired Cochran's independence and his ability to create full productions essentially by himself in the studio. Cochran's guitar playing perfectly combined country-picking techniques with aggressive rock attitude. His innovative use of echo and reverb influenced how rock records would sound going forward. Cochran experimented with multi-track recording before most people understood the technology. Wood appreciated how Cochran controlled every aspect of his music without needing producers or arrangers. What separated Cochran from other early rock performers was his technical knowledge combined with creative ambition. He thought like a modern producer decades before this time. Cochran's tragic death at age 21 robbed rock music of a true innovator. His influence on British musicians like Wood was profound and lasting. At number 7 was Buddy Holly, who created the template that every rock band after him would follow. His lineup of guitar, bass, drums, and vocals became the standard format. Holly wrote songs, sang, played guitar, and produced his own records. Wood studied Holly intensively and credited him as a primary influence. Holly showed that rock musicians could control their own artistic destinies completely. His songs featured innovative arrangements and recording techniques. His use of studio effects, like double tracking, influenced the Beatles and everyone who came after. Holly's guitar became the iconic rock guitar. Wood loved how Holly constantly experimented while maintaining commercial appeal. What made Holly eternal was his combination of songwriting genius and production innovation. He advanced rock music technically while writing perfect pop songs. Holly showed British musicians that they could write and produce their own material. His death at age 22 created rock music's first great tragedy. His 18 months of recording changed music history permanently. Number 6 was Phil Spector, who revolutionized record production with his distinctive technique. His productions created massive orchestral pop records. Spector used multiple instruments playing the same parts to create unprecedented density and power. Wood studied Spector's production methods intensely, learning how layering creates sonic power. Spector's recordings showcased his genius for arrangement. He treated short pop songs like symphonies. Spector layered guitars, pianos, drums, and orchestras into glorious sonic explosions. Wood appreciated how Spector made production an art form equal to songwriting. What made Spector revolutionary was his vision of records as complete artistic statements. He controlled every detail, from arrangement to final mixing. Spector proved that studios could be instruments themselves. His influence on Wood's own production approach was enormous. His techniques shaped how Wood recorded with his bands completely. At number 5 was Jeff Lynne, who co-founded Electric Light Orchestra with Roy Wood. Their partnership created the initial vision of combining rock with classical music. Lynne's songwriting and production genius took the band to superstardom after Wood departed. Wood always admired Lynne's musical intelligence and his dedication to creating perfect records. Lynne became one of rock's greatest producers. What made Lynne special was his combination of pop sensibility and progressive ambition. He wrote complex arrangements that sounded effortlessly catchy. Despite their different paths, Wood respected Lynne's achievements enormously. Their brief partnership planted seeds that grew into legendary success. Number 4 was Chuck Berry, who created rock and roll's entire vocabulary through his guitar playing and songwriting. His lyrics told stories about teenage life with poetry and humor.
Barry's guitar riffs became the foundation every rock guitarist built upon. Wood recognized Barry as the ultimate source of everything rock music became. Barry combined showmanship, songwriting, and guitar genius into one complete package. What elevated Barry above others was his completeness as an artist and entertainer. He wrote brilliant songs, sang them, played revolutionary guitar, and created rock and roll showmanship. Barry invented everything important about rock and roll. His guitar produced the defining rock guitar tone. Every rock musician owes Barry an enormous debt. At number 3 were the Beatles, who transformed popular music more than any other artists in history. Their evolution from simple rock band to studio innovators inspired Wood's entire career. The Beatles showed that rock musicians could write sophisticated songs and produce experimental records. Wood watched the Beatles progress, fascinated by their constant innovation and fearless creativity. The Beatles' albums demonstrated unlimited musical possibilities. They incorporated classical instruments, Indian music, electronics, and avant-garde techniques into pop songs. The Beatles used the studio as a compositional tool. Wood loved how they refused to repeat themselves or follow expectations. What made the Beatles eternal was their combination of incredible songwriting and relentless experimentation. They advanced popular music while maintaining commercial success. The Beatles were the reason British musicians believed they could compete with Americans. They proved that rock music could be art. Their influence on Wood's vision was absolutely fundamental. Number 2 was Brian Wilson, who created the Beach Boys sound and produced some of rock's most sophisticated recordings. His revolutionary album changed what pop records could be. Wilson used orchestras, unusual instruments, and complex vocal arrangements to create unprecedented beauty. Wood considered Wilson the greatest producer in rock music. Wilson's ambition and creativity inspired Wood's own studio experiments. What made Wilson irreplaceable was his combination of childlike wonder and sophisticated musical knowledge. He created music that sounded simple but was incredibly complex. Wilson was the most creative mind in popular music history. His influence on Wood's orchestral rock vision was enormous. He showed that rock could incorporate any musical element successfully. At number 1 was Ludwig van Beethoven. This choice revealed Wood's deep respect for classical music's power and ambition. Beethoven composed symphonies, concertos, and sonatas that remain unsurpassed 200 years later. His music combined mathematical perfection with raw emotional power. Wood studied Beethoven throughout his life and applied his compositional techniques to rock music constantly. Beethoven's symphonies showcased his genius for dramatic structure and emotional expression. He wrote music that challenged performers and audiences equally. Beethoven continued composing even after becoming completely deaf, working from pure imagination. Wood loved how Beethoven took enormous risks and never played it safe musically. What made Beethoven eternal was his revolutionary spirit combined with perfect craftsmanship. He broke classical music rules while creating timeless masterpieces. Beethoven showed that music could be both popular and profound simultaneously. His influence extends across all music genres forever. Understanding Beethoven means understanding how great music transcends time and style completely. Roy Wood's list honors musicians who refused to follow rules and created their own unique sounds. From Beethoven to Spike Jones, these artists valued originality over imitation. The list reflects Wood's own philosophy as a musician and his commitment to pushing boundaries and exploring new musical territories throughout his remarkable career.